I've had some difficult relationships with mental health team over the years, professionally, trying to get people into mental health services, especially when I worked in drug services, because we had this situation where we would often, as a mental health professional, as somebody who was at that point a qualified counsellor and doing more training, I had a really good idea of mental health and could see when somebody's mental health wasn't positive. And it wasn't necessarily due to their drug taking, but mental health services in general would kind of shun it off as it's just the alcohol, it's just the drugs. And drug services were kind of saying, no, it's the mental health that's causing the problems, and that kind of sort of went back and forth. What I will say though is it hasn't been all doom and gloom.
I'd started having panic attacks, I had like a sort of mental sort of breakdown, and I needed to go to hospital to get some proper help, and they just threw me in a room with sort of loads of other people in like like communal sort of area, and I developed this really bad stutter from having a panic attack. After that, when I went home to my missus and stuff, got to pick me up, she couldn't believe the sort of state I was in, and she took me to North Manchester General Hospital. Went in there to see them, still with this stutter and sort of like catatonic, like sort of really sort of strange behaviour, and they left me for about 3 hours just on the ward, and I was just like sort of wandering up and down, didn't know what I was doing.
I've sort of suffered quite heavily with depression and anxiety, which I now kind of realise that was related to the impact of the abuse that I'd gone through, but I didn't know at that point. And I found it really difficult to access services, to be honest. I think a lot of it was because I couldn't go in the daytime. I was working, I had a kind of career to hold down, and I didn't want anyone to know at my job that I was kind of suffering with mental health issues.
I'd like to see easier sort of pathways in there. I'd like to see more experienced, qualified staff. I'd like to see a sort of continuation and support, so I'm not saying your story to about 10 different people, just having one person throughout your sort of treatment, really.
I'd like to see more education coming out of mental health services, and I appreciate that that's really difficult sometimes to do, but I think if mental health services work together, I think we can achieve it together. I think we can really improve the mental health and the emotional well-being of residents in Manchester.
All the other services I've been to, I didn't feel confident or comfortable talking to them, but we're coming to survivors. What did it for me was speaking to another person who was a survivor themselves, so then it felt okay and sort of safe to talk. And my life's totally changed since that day, which was about 3 years ago now. Now I'm actually working here.